Hey guys, welcome back to the Snapring Chronicles. Today we're coming back at you with another Ratchet video. Okay, this time we have a Crescent Ratchet, and this is a Crescent Ratchet that was probably released, or they came up with this Ratchet maybe during the late 50s to 60s. But before we jump into it, if you could do me a favor and hit the like button, and also subscribe to this channel if you find any of this at all interesting or even entertaining. Okay, we have here a Crescent LS70 Ratchet, and it's made in USA, and the patent number here is 29, I think that's 82161. Let me look at that really good. Yeah, I think that's what it is. 9298261. And that patent is from the late 50s, and I think it was granted about 1960 to 61. So this is probably after, I think, some of the ones that had a patent pending on it. So that might have been the early ones, and the ones with the actual patent on it is probably something later on. From what I gathered, these Crescent did not make ratchets. They, as you know, Crescent was famous for other tools, but ratchets wasn't one of those tools, and I think they wanted to kind of wet their feet in the ratchet market, and they came up with these ratchets. And these were made, from what all the information I can find, these were made by Wright. These were made by Wright for Crescent. So there we go. And they had a couple of different designs, and if you look into my if you go into my playlists and you look at Wright ratchets, I'll have a Crescent in there that's not quite this design, a bit different. But if you're interested in Crescent ratchets at all, this one is a little bit different than that one. So we're gonna jump into this and take a look what makes this tick. From the outside, it kind of looks a lot like an SK ratchet. The switch, it has the ring that holds the retention ring. It's kind of similar to an SK ratchet in that respect, that it does have a retention ring. Very similar, and it's kind of like not shiny. I wouldn't say matte, but not too shiny on the handles and the shaft. But over here on the head, they did shine the head some. You see here, maybe it started from here, and they shined the head. As you can see, this one's not too bad a shape, but you can see it's has some scratches and wear marks. So I don't know. One thing I kind of dig about this ratchet is that it's got kind of like this slope here on the anvil side. It's kind of sloping down here. It kind of, I don't know, it looks pretty good. I like that look that it has there. I think something maybe a little bit similar to this look is those Craftsman ratchets, the early quick release ones. They have a ring here that's held. The retention clip here holds a ring that is removable, but this isn't a ring. This is part of I guess the forging. And another interesting thing about this ratchet is that you don't need a tweezer, or you don't need a needle nose to take these apart. Let me see if this cooperates. You might be able to do this with your fingers and nail, like that. Okay. And the reason you would be able to take it out with your fingers is that this retention ring is pretty similar to most retention rings, a la the Craftsman ring and the SK ring, but this one has long ends here, so it kind of sticks out a little bit more, so you're able to use your fingers and take this ratchet apart. So kind of cool for that. You really don't need any tools to take this apart if you have enough dexterity in your fingers and nails to grab onto it. Okay, here's the switch, and here's the mechanism. Kind of not what you were expecting, right? Or maybe it is what you were expecting. Not the typical SK style round head ratchet mechanism. Here's the switch, and these little raised parts here on the pawls. There's a pawl on each side, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teeth on each pawl, and there's kind of this cutout here, and that's the cutout that with these little protrusions that you see here and here, they switch and they kind of catch from side to side, and they kind of catch here in the middle. You see there's like a little dimple there, and that's how it switches. I don't think without it being in the mechanism, I don't think I'll be able to reproduce how it looks, but see, you twist it, yeah, it's not gonna switch properly, but that's what the switch looks like. And another thing, I think I'm the only one on YouTube who's made a video on this ratchet, because I couldn't find any videos on this ratchet or what it looks like inside. I have some questions about this. This, I think, is original. The pawls are original. My question is, let me take these pawls out so you can get a better look at them. But remember this spring here in the middle. Let me just put that aside. And it has these bigger protrusions that are machined into, or machined from the same block as the pawl, and these fit into these protrusions down here, and they swing back and forth in that hole. These smaller protrusions on this side, those are not machined in from this piece of metal. It looks like they've been pressed in. So you see there, you see how the gap there, these were not machined from a solid block. Those protrusions were stuck in there, and I'm sure that helped somehow with the process of manufacture, to not to have to fashion that. You can just have it flat, put a hole, and just pop it in and press it in. And here is the left pawl. You see there. And the mystery for me is, I looked at the I looked at the patent, this patent here for this mechanism, and everything looks surprisingly the same. Even the handle looked very similar to this handle. The only thing that I can't figure is this spring. Here's a spring that sits in between the two. Let me put it back in there. And as you push, as one side gets pushed this way, this pawl, when it switches, it pushes this pawl out to engage the teeth. And you would switch it the other way, it would push that pawl out to engage the teeth. But in the drawings for the patent, they didn't have a spring there. They had, it looked like a sponge. Yeah, go look at the patent and tell me what you think. In between the two pawls, it looks like a piece of rubber or maybe a sponge. It looks like a round piece, and I forgot what they called it. They don't call it really anything specific. It's kind of vague what they call it. It's like a descriptive name. It isn't really a name of anything. And but it didn't have this spring type of thing in the middle. So I'm thinking, did someone just put this there because that sponge or whatever rubber piece kind of dried out and stopped working, and they came out with this solution, or did they just manufacture it with these, being that, I don't know, that material they were planning on using didn't really work out. But that's just me being curious. And this is what the housing looks like by itself. And that's the machining there. A little bit rough here, as you can see. I don't think that was from the pawls or anything, because it's chromed in there, and if it was the pawls, it'll probably be a black mark there, or a black section, but it's all chromed, so it probably that's how they bored it out, or whatever, machined it out. But not too bad. This is a pretty heavy piece, and here you can see the slope, and here is where the retention ring sits in this channel. And there is the ball detent. Looks pretty good. Has kind of like little rays on it if you look really close, like almost like little sun rays on the peening there. Okay, and inside the head and teeth, really nice. I like the way how they did this broaching. The broaching looks really clean. Everything looks good. The teeth are all very nice in there. And there's a look at the inside of the teeth. A little bit of chipping on the end there, but not too bad. Not too bad at all. They all look pretty good for the most part. Pretty uniform. So yeah, Wright does they make a pretty good product. And back in, I guess, the early 60s or late or mid 60s, they were definitely doing good work. So that's a look inside the head. And to get this back together, it's pretty simple. There's not many parts here. The whole mechanism is like 4 parts and the switch, and that's it. You take your right pawl, you put it in the right side. Take the left pawl, put it on the left side. Take the spring, if yours has a spring. I'm curious about that. If you guys ever tore one of these down, let me know. And now you just put, oops, you put the switch on to where this cutout is over these little protrusions, like that. You slip it into there you go. See if it's ratcheting. Yeah, it's ratcheting. Now, I guess probably one of the hardest parts is just getting this ring. Getting this ring in. And that was that. I'll do it again in case you missed it. Let's get the ring in that channel and squeeze it down with your fingers, and it should pop right in. And you see if it's ratcheting or switching. The switching feels a little weird. I don't know if it's because of that spring is not giving the proper tension, but it seems this way there's a good click, and when sometimes it gets a little stuck. Now it's kind of cooperating a little bit better, but I don't know, it's kind of a weird feel to it. I don't know if that spring has enough tension, if that's an actual part or just a replacement somebody made. I'm not sure. And what I noticed on these two is that the switches get a lot of abuse for some reason, not just here, but kind of in here. I think these kind of get stuck at one point, and people try to hammer it from side to side to try to get it to work through I don't know what, maybe not lack of maintenance or something. But I don't know. I don't know what happened to this mechanism. If in the long haul, are these reliable? Are they true mechanisms? Or what really happened to them? I know that this is probably unique to this ratchet. I haven't seen this mechanism in any other ratchet, and I don't think that Wright really had any other ratchet that Wright made with this particular mechanism in it. Don't know what the problems were with this. I can just guess, but I don't know. Doesn't seem like it really caught on a lot, this type of mechanism. But I don't know, I could be wrong. Maybe it was pretty solid and a lost gem that just didn't catch on. Okay guys, until next time.